Hello guys, this is Kendall of Kendall's Creations podcast. It is Friday, January 14th, and this is my first podcast of 2021. It is podcast number 23. Would have been cute if it was number 22, but oh well. So, I don't have as much to talk about today as I did last podcast because school started again the 3rd, I want to say, and we were wrapping up our semester. My semester just ended yesterday, and so I have a 4-day weekend, and I have not been able to knit as much as I would like to, plus I had to frog something, which we'll talk about in a second. Well, I should talk about it now. So, if you guys were here the week before that, last podcast, you guys would have seen that I was making this top, which is the My Little Secret Crop by Jessie Made Designs, in a blue velvet yarn. And so I had gotten up to where I bind off these stitches, and I realized that the ribbing wasn't shrinking. And so I had to completely frog it because it wouldn't have fit. So that was devastating. I was super excited. But one of the hardships of knitting is frogging. But I have one half finished object, no complete finished objects, because I did have to frog that shirt, I want to say I frogged it right before school started, and so yeah. So my half finished object is this sock. I will show you the front. This is the Skipping Stones sock by Northern Knits and Pearls. Sorry if you can hear my stuff moving around. I applied to be a tester for her most recent tester call. I was not chosen, but I did get this sock pattern. This is my first for quite a lot of things, actually. This is my first time doing anything other than 1x1 rib for the cuff. This is 2x2. My first time doing a textured sock. And then, I don't know if you can see, but there are some little cables on the sides here. It's my first time doing cables. And then the heel flap is a garter stitch heel flap instead of a stockinette. So it was my first time doing that as well. The pattern is written for working in the round, but it's very easy to just do it magic loop like how I do it. The only thing that's a little confusing is when you're doing the gusset decreases, the markers switch around, but if you, instead of using markers, if you just have it at the end of your needle, which is what I did, it'll work out just fine. And so, this was very fun. This is the seat stitch, I'm pretty sure. It's very beautiful. I love how it feels. And this yarn goes perfect with it. When I first started knitting it up, my cables weren't really very visible, but that might also have been because it was my first time ever doing cables. But the more I worked, the more visible it became, and I was so scared that I picked too dark and too variegated of a yarn for all of the details to come through, but they did. I love it. This toe is a little bit different than all of the other toes I've ever done. So before this, I'd only made socks using the Crazy Sock Lady's vanilla sock pattern. And the way she decreases is she decreases every other row for a little bit and then goes every row until you have 8 stitches and then you Kitchener. But with this one, you decrease every other row until you have 24 stitches and then Kitchener. And I think I like this one a little bit more because I have some wide feet, and the way my toes are, they're not your standard diagonal. My second toe is bigger than my first toe on all of my feet. I only have 2 feet on my feet, and so having a little bit of a wider wedge makes it more comfortable, so then it's not decreasing on my tallest toe, which is something I kind of found happened with my vanilla socks. It's not something that I like cared so much about to change. It's just something like I had to be very mindful of when I was putting it on, because if it was a little twisted, it would feel very awkward having the decrease like on the front of my foot going across. But I don't have that problem with this. It's a very nice sock. This worked up in, I want to say 4 or 5 days, I want to say. So it was very fast. And I finished this on Wednesday night I finished this. And then that was my elbow popping. As per usual, cast it on my second sock. Completely forgot to mention what yarn I was using. This is Knit Picks Hawthorne Tonal Hand Dyed in Ashland. And as usual, everything will be linked below. So I casted, oh my lord, I am a mess today. I cast it on the second sock as usual, and I am about halfway done. 1 second, 1, 2, 3, 4. I am 2 rows past halfway done with the leg, and I am just as excited as when I was first knitting it, because now that I like have the pattern memorized, the chart essentially memorized for the front of the foot, and I know what I'm doing with the heel, because picking up stitches on this heel was a little bit different than on my regular one, just because it was a different stitch pattern. I know what I'm doing, so I can do it a little more autonomously, and then I won't have to read the toe pattern again, because I know what to do now, and I don't have to read the gusset, because I know it's essentially the same gusset as what I'm used to working. So I don't have it with me, but my college prep teacher gave me this little book journal thing, and it was supposed to be a gratitude journal, but I'm changing it to like a day-by-day progress, like what I want to get done each day, knitting, crocheting, crafting wise. And so my goal for today, because it is currently 11:55 a.m., don't have any plans today, I don't think, but my goal for today is to get, I want to say about 90% of the leg done. So if I have like 1 or 2 more repeats of 2 rows, I won't be mad at myself. Now, it would be great if I could get to the heel flap, which, knowing me, I probably can, but I like to estimate a little bit lower and go over to give myself as much time as necessary, like to be able to give myself ample time. So we have that. And then my next work in progress, which you guys have not seen, and you guys haven't seen any of them, unless you follow my Instagram. I have posted both of these on there. It will be linked in the description as usual. This is another My Little Secret Crop by Jessie Made Designs. And this one is in Lion Brand Pima Cotton. It's their worsted weight, so I didn't change needle sizes for the bigger of the ribbing. And it is 100% cotton. This is in the color Dragonfly. Focus, come on. It's not focusing. It's focusing on my hands. Okay, it's in the color Dragonfly. And I haven't worked on this in a while because you can't tell. The 3x3 ribbing isn't shrinking, but the 1x1 did. And so I think I was just a little, like, traumatized from what happened with the velvet top that I was scared this one would happen, like the same thing would happen with this one. And so I have put this down, and I'll pick this back up once I'm done with this sock, because I am obsessed with these socks and they're all I want to knit on right now. So that's all of my, like, knitting. I don't think I have anything else on the needles or anything. This, I'm using the 2.25 32-inch circulars, and then this one I'm using my interchangeable needles, and I currently have it on a 32-inch cable, I think, with 3.25 millimeter needles. This is my first project that I've fully used my interchangeables on, because on my very first one, right here, I switched to interchangeables for this part, just so then I can get this top ribbing easier. And I also learned to go up a needle size for this band, because when I tell you, this thing took four freaking ever, these straps. So I will be going up a needle size for the straps. And that is all for my, like, what I'm knitting on. I have one acquisition. It's not with me. I ordered it last night as a gift to myself for completing my semester. Again, if you guys were here last time, you would have heard my little rant about my grades. I got all of my grades up to get an A in all of my classes for this semester. So I was really proud of myself, and I told myself if that happens, I will buy myself a thing of hand-dyed yarn as a go me. And so I decided on Fiber for the People's, I'm gonna the yarn base, superwash merino, non-superwash merino / nylon 4-ply in the color Bullion, which is from the Umber collection. She does this thing called signature solids, so from all of her collections, all of the solids you can order at any time. It is dyed to order. My order is still pending, so I don't quite know what's up with that, but oh well. And I was gonna say something. What was I gonna say? But I'm just gonna repeat myself real quick and hope it comes back. So you can order all of the solids from all of her past collections. They are dyed to order, and I remember what I'm gonna say. So it can take anywhere from about 2 to 4 weeks to ship, depending on if the base is in stock. I'm obviously hoping it is, so I can get it on the shorter end of the 2 to 4 weeks, but I don't know. And so I don't know if it'll be here. I highly doubt it'll be here for my next podcast episode, but it will definitely be here and in a project, because this is the non-superwash merino 4-ply is her sock fingering weight base, and I will definitely be making some socks out of it. I kind of want to make this in that mustard yellow, because it is a very beautiful yellow, and I feel like this in yellow would just look so good. But I might look for some other sock patterns, because now that I've done like a textured sock, I'm in love with it. I still need to finish my light blue sock. It's like retired. That ball of yarn right there is connected to it. It's like retired to not gonna get worked on, but my goal is to finish the sock and then at least finish one sock of that so I can free up my needles for some other socks. And if you see that bag there, there's some yarn in there, and actually this one right here, I know you guys can't really see it, I had it last week. It was like this blue and white yarn. I want to use that. I don't quite know what I want to, like, if I want to do a vanilla sock or a patterned sock. I'm leaning more towards patterned sock, but that might just be because I'm so in love with the skipping stones. And also all of the patterns, like, and all of the artists' Ravelries will be in the description, as well as their Instagrams. So will Fiber for the People and Knit Picks, because that's And also my sock yarn. I'm excited to get another thing of hand-dyed yarn. This will be my third skein of hand-dyed yarn, because I have the one from Surella, one from Forest Lane Fiber Company, which was also a non-superwash. Actually, one of the socks right here. This was a non-superwash, and I absolutely love how it feels. Like, I thought it would be a lot scratchier than it was, but it feels very nice. I'm gonna weave in these ends over the weekend and probably wear them to school because they're just so amazing. And I'm gonna really quickly show you the difference in the toe wedges of these two socks. If we can get it going. So, this one I knit using the vanilla sock pattern, which will also be linked. I'm trying to get this to be perfect, and it's not. Oh, that's because this is the back. So if you guys can see, this one is a wider wedge than this one, and this one until about here, it's every other, and then it's every, whereas this one is just the every other. And this ended with 24 stitches, and this ended with 16. And so there were 8 more stitches I had to kitchen off, which I didn't mind. I think the Kitchener stitch is fun, and I was getting the adrenaline high from finishing this sock. One way to avoid second sock syndrome, I'm purposely giving myself second sock syndrome with that one just because I lost all motivation on knitting that sock. We don't talk about it, but is right after I Kitchener this one, and then there's only one end to weave in on both of these socks, and it's the starting end, because right after I do the Kitchener stitch, I weave in that end, because it's already on the tapestry needle, so I might as well. And so, one way to avoid is after weaving in that end and cutting it, I immediately cast on the second sock. Oh, I completely forgot to mention that this sock also used a new cast on method, which I'm going to the pattern to see it real quick because I don't remember the name of it. The German twisted cast on, which is a lot like the long tail cast on, but super stretchy. And so I like it a lot, especially because obviously again this is not 1x1 ribbing. I think I like my 1x1 ribbing cast on more for 1x1 ribbing, obviously, but I'll still do this for 1x1 ribbing when I decide to do it. But if I make another one of these socks, I'll definitely do 2x2. And if I make any other sock that isn't 1x1, I'll do the German twisted cast on. It's very similar to the long tail cast on, and it goes faster than the 1x1 ribbing cast on because you're not having to, with the 1x1 ribbing, you have to insert your needle knitwise and then knit the stitch and insert your needle purlwise and purl the stitch. But with this one, it's kind of a very fluid motion, and it goes a lot faster. And since you're not constantly having to move the yarn to the front and to the back and to the front and to the back, it just seems to go a lot faster. And since I was used to doing the long tail cast on, it was a very easy jump to this one because you're holding your yarn the same way. It's very, very similar. I'm trying to see if something was leaking. No, okay, sorry. Sorry about that. It's a very similar, you hold your yarn the same way. It's essentially the same thing, but with about 2 extra steps. And the way your needle goes, it just kind of feels very natural to do. And I also did the 1x1 ribbing cast on for this top, which technically should be held like this. So I think that is all for this week. This episode is a little bit shorter because, again, I don't have as much to talk about, but I'm pretty sure my computer will like the shorter episode because will not take 4 hours to process and upload and all that jazz. And so I will see you guys. What date will I see you? Let's take a look-see. I will see you guys again on the 28th of January. And yeah, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow me on Instagram. I'm way more active over there. I'm trying to get back into the groove of posting more frequently. And so I'm definitely going to make a post today about this beautiful baby girl over here. And so I will see you guys at my next podcast episode. I don't know why I keep stalling, but bye.